Okay, so why don't we spend a couple of minutes just clearing up all the bullshit on spirituality. I have a little list here. You can't really see it very well, but this is what we're about to go through. The first thing we're going to clear up is desires. Reason for this is because I know a lot of people get stuck with their desires. Basically, they can't trust them. Desires, happiness. Desires are the creative force of the universe. The universe is a desire. It is a desire for everything to exist. So for us to think that restricting desires or resisting desires is some sort of spiritual goal or some type of spiritual path, it's couldn't be further from the truth. Desires are there to inevitably move us along. They're just there to move us along. And some desires are going to be moving us further away from happiness, and some desires are going to be moving us closer. And I say that provisionally. All desires are taking us closer to the truth. It's just not every single desire is going to be a direct way of going there. And we can easily measure our desires by this. Is the thing that I'm desiring and the thing that I'm going to do henceforth that desire in order to get happiness from it? If the desire is pure in its intention, in other words, we're either celebrating happiness or wanting to share happiness or wanting to do something practical, right? It doesn't have to be something that is sharing or celebrating happiness, but those are the three things: celebration, sharing, which is also celebration, and something practical. So if your desires are in alignment with that, perfectly fine. Desire all the fuck you want. Desire whatever you want. There's nothing that's called hell, where you cannot follow your desires, because you're going to have desires by nature of being in a human body mind. When I say in, you're not really in a human body mind, but you know what I'm trying to say. By nature of experiencing a human body mind, you'll have desires, okay? So that's desires done. Enlightenment. Enlightenment doesn't exist. For people who think enlightenment exists, they've been told a fairy tale from the Indian traditions. Enlightenment really is just happiness. And we can replace the word enlightenment with happiness purely because happiness is what the goal is. If we were looking at every single human movement that has ever been experienced or ever could be imagined, it would be either to find happiness, in other words, to find a supreme inner contentedness that prevented us from ever needing to have to find happiness again, or it would be celebrating that happiness to some degree, sharing it, bringing it to other people, or celebrating it in the comfort of our own environment. Whatever that might be, that is what the goal is. Human evolution isn't moving towards some type of technological fucking is not taking us up beyond the planet in terms of traveling to other planets. The human evolution is nothing about the physical things in the world. It's everything to do with transcending the human experience. The human experience is transcended through happiness. Happiness is not a human experience. Happiness is an experience that is actually the emulation of pure infinite consciousness shining into the human experience. And we go, oh my God, that's happiness. So in other words, imagine that the sun was clouded with clouds and there was a breakthrough in that cloud and then light was to shine through it. If that was someone going, oh my God, look, there's something shining through that. That's what we say is what happiness is. It's just pure consciousness shining through. It's not, it's the absence of something. You see what I mean? It's the absence of cloud, okay? So that's enlightenment. Enlightenment's not the goal. You'll never find a state of mind. All states of mind come and go. There is literally no state of mind to be looking for. Every single spiritual tradition is, for thousands of years, that's ever been written, is simply there to get you to sit down one day in your chair and say, finally, I actually don't mind my current experience. I actually don't mind what happens. I actually enjoy just my regular day-to-day experience that I've been resisting for my entire life. I actually like it, and I actually don't want to change it. And I wouldn't change it for the world. That is what enlightenment really is, if we're going to use that term. It is not a state. No one should be put on a pedestal. And that brings us to teachers. Every teacher that you've ever known, any teacher that you will ever know, is a human being just like you with some spiritual insight. So don't put them on a pedestal. There will be teachers who have incredible presence in the sense that they have really deepened the understanding of what they're aware of, but that doesn't mean that they are different from you. They are exactly like you. They piss, they shit, they fart, and they fuck. They don't do anything different. The only thing that they do is maybe they talk about spirituality more, or they're less angry than you. They are definitely, most likely, probably happier than you, and that's why you should listen to them. But not because they are some enlightened person who has this deep, grand, spiritual fucking like bliss that is so different from your experience that you could never find. Cut that out right now, okay? That brings us to the next point, meditation. Meditation is the nature of being alive. You don't really need to practice meditation. Why? Simply because it's already the nature of what you are. So it's like going to a doctor and believing you're a dog, and the doctor's like, fuck's sake, okay, so this human being believes they're a dog. How do I convince them that then they're already a human being? And by the way, this is the essence of all spiritual traditions, of teaching you that you're what you really are. So the doctor starts by saying, well, human being, you're actually a human being. And the person who believes they're a dog is like, no, I'm definitely not a human being. I'm a dog. Woof, woof. And the doctor's like, okay, well, tried that one. Okay, well, how about I prove to you that you're a human being? And he's like, well, you can't prove that to me because I've already proved to myself that I'm a fucking dog. So good luck with that one, mate. Doctors are like, fuck, okay. Well, what about if I help you with some questions? He's like, okay, show me. And this is where we get to self-inquiry. So there's a direct path, then there's self-inquiry, slightly different approach. First approach was like Ramana Maharshi, you're already infinite, absolute Brahman. And then there's the second approach, which self-inquiry, going through, and obviously that is Ramana Maharshi as well. But just talking about, okay, so if you check your paws, where your paws are meant to be, right, the things you walk on, they're actually fingers and hands just like mine. And then the guy's like, oh my god, fuck, yeah, dogs are supposed to have paws, but I don't have paws. Likewise, you can imagine in a spiritual exploration, okay, so this person you're supposed to be is actually infinite consciousness. You can check that just by identifying what are you aware of in this moment, and are you aware, and blah, 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 and then we go into the self-inquiry. So, in other words, meditation is already what you are. The further and further we go, the more someone is seduced by experience, the more you'll have to make concessions in order to get them to the place that they already are, to realize that the human isn't actually a dog. The dog was never really there. They've always been a human, and that is basically meditation, the essence of meditation. It's also the essence of spirituality. Second thing is yoga. It's actually the fourth thing. Yoga is there. When I say yoga, movement yoga, body integrational stuff, they are there in order to tune your body to the position, and I say position, they are literally called asanas, there where you can start experiencing the truth of the body. The body doesn't really have weight, the body doesn't really have size, the body doesn't really have shape. You're perceiving, what you perceive physically through your eyes is not the same as what you would physically, is what the body actually is. There was a test done on blind people where blind people were basically, who were born blind, they were, before having their eyesight healed, given a sphere and a cube. And they said to the blind person, can you touch the sphere? Yes, this feeling this circular object. Thank you. Can you have the square? Yes, feeling this square. And then they put them down, healed their eyesight, had the sphere, had the square. Can you identify which one was the sphere and which one was the square? They had no fucking idea, because one's a smooth, rounded object, and one is a hard square. I don't have a cube anyway. One is a hard square with sharp edges. They had no idea. What you're feeling and what you're seeing are completely different things, so don't get that fucking confused. So yoga is supposed to help you tune into the body, to experience the body as weightless, luminance, transparent, tingliness as it is. It's not really this solid, dense thing. You should be experiencing your body as your entire experience. You are your experience, in the sense of your individuality is your experience, and you're not just limited to the body. So that is the purpose of yoga. Then we have the final and the last thing, which is happiness. Happiness is what we could call the pinnacle of human evolution, because it's the point where you cannot evolve further as a human being. I mean that quite literally. True happiness, basically the space in which there is the recognition of what you essentially are, is not a human experience. The human experience is the experience where you experience that, but it is not a human experience. And I think that summarizes the entire thing. The goal is happiness. There's no such thing as enlightenment unless you want to be searching for nothing for the rest of your life, which is pretty much what the spiritual path is, looking for nothing. Aside from that, I think that's it. Leave any comment that you need, any questions that you have. I also have a free community, completely free, coaching, meditations every single week. Feel free to join. I'll put the link in the description. Take care. Have a beautiful day.